All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 59. I'm Nate, the Fit Future MD, your host. Be sure to shop at intercell.com, pick you up a cool, inspirational t shirt today. All right, so first things first, I'm going to do a little announcing. So when we get to the 60 show mark, right, which will be tomorrow, Thursday, um, after that, we're going to be Monday through Friday, every day. Try to get it up before 6 a.m. For those of you who watch every day, my live video. And so that's going to be what our normal schedule ends up being, right? It won't be through the weekend. Like I say, to start a habit, so my habit is to record live every day, record live. So to start a habit, you got to go 60 days straight to have a habit. So we'll probably do an episode Friday, 60, the first episode, 61st episode. And then everything after that will be Monday through Friday. So that'll be, 200 and something episodes a year. So I think that's pretty good. Hope you guys are enjoying it. And let's get started. All right. So the Blue Jays, they take the game four to tie the series at 2-2. Ohtani gives up 4 runs in the loss, and Guerrero Jr. hits a homer for the Blue Jays. All right, so we're going to game 5 back in Toronto. So if the Dodgers do win this series, it won't be at home. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is a 2-2 series, tied it up. I say I don't know who they're going to go with. So your Savage is going to be who they call on game 5. My brother from ECU, you Savage, youngest pitcher to ever start a World Series. So can you Savage pull it out in game 5? Basically living the dream of every kid that pitches, right? Like, game 5 of the World Series, you're coming in and you dominate. Can you Savage do that? Or is it the Dodgers season to lose here? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo. Be sure to check out London and the Googly Goo, available on Amazon if you have nieces, nephews, or children of your own. You'll love the moral and the story in London and the Googly Goo. So check that out in the description below or on Amazon. All right, so it's October 29th. And the big story, this October 29th, and the big story that's coming out is that SNAP benefits are going to be cut or not, like, on November 1st. So SNAP benefits are not going to be available on November 1st if the government remains shut down. So this basically comes because the USDA deemed that it was illegal to use emergency funds to fund the SNAP benefits when Congress hasn't approved the funding. Right? So they basically said that, the USDA can't approve those emergency funds for SNAP benefits. Now, to me, I don't even understand why this is an option at all, right? They say you have people that, which is crazy that it's up to 42 million people, right? So that's just telling you how society is going right now. But so 42 million people receive SNAP benefits. So I don't understand how the government can spend money on cocaine rats, can send $83 billion to Ukraine, can spend $20 billion in Argentina, but can't fund SNAP benefits, right, for 42 million people, right, in the U.S., right? Say, if you're supposed to be Make America Great Again, Make America Great Again takes care of its people first. So to me, it doesn't make any sense that SNAP benefits would be cut, right? Um, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, I will say something else. There are people out there that really and truly think that there's so much falsehood or false narrative, um, basically fraud, with people receiving SNAP benefits. Now, I said there's certain criteria that people meet to be eligible for SNAP benefits. And so what's really uh, getting people to not like it is because as a normal person making 50K a year, you're just above the cutoff of having these SNAP benefits, right? And so, you see people out there, talking about how, well, this is pertaining to Medicaid, not SNAP benefits, but they'll talk about how, they'll make, $39,000, and then all of a sudden they're having to pay 10 grand a year for health insurance, when if they had made 37,000, everybody would have been approved for Medicaid, right? So you're basically making $2 more thousand cost you eight, right? Something like that. But the fact is that, and this is how I see it, right? The federal government determines what is considered the poverty line, right? And yeah, it sucks if you're just above the poverty line, right? And you don't get any help. I don't know how many people are just above the poverty line off the top of my head. But to me, if you're in the poverty line, there's no reason that, like 1% of the country pays 90% of the taxes or something like that. There's no reason that the top 1% can't pay for some SNAP benefits, right? For a little bit of help to people that need help, right? It's the job of the strong to take care of the weak, right? Period. Now, do I necessarily think that, uh, you know, do I think that the regular working class people are taxed too much to make this happen? Absolutely, right? Like if you're in a 35% tax bracket, like that's kind of a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of a lot. So keep that in mind. But to me, if they're sending $83 billion to Ukraine, they're sending money to have cocaine rats, and they're sending money to have for Argentina. There's no reason they shouldn't be sending money for SNAP people. Take care of our people first, and so if that means I would rather you send $83 billion in food to our people than to Ukraine. So keep that in mind. What do you guys think? Like I say, I am, obviously I'm for, if you are receiving benefits, to work something, whether that be 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, volunteering somewhere, whatever you can physically do. I know there's people out there that can't physically do stuff, that are disabled, but whatever you can physically do to contribute something, if you're, just as a thank you for getting it, would be fine. But I don't believe people should just be cut off with no notice because the Republicans and Democrats can't get along. Right. So just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should we take care of our people first, or should we not? Like, should every amount of money be sent to our people first with SNAP benefits than to, basically take money from any other program that there's money left for and send it to SNAP benefits? That's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so I'm going to move on to life coaching today. And the message reads, my husband and I make $130,000 a year, but still live paycheck to paycheck. where's all our money going, and how do we finally get control of our money? All right, so $130,000 a year used to be good money, right? But the government's got this thing on called the money printer, right? So every day, our money becomes less and less valuable. We're working for something that is less and less valuable, right? So $130,000 a year is really like $50,000 a year 10 years ago, right? Um, so unfortunately, you have that situation going on, right? We can't control that situation as a regular person, you can't control that situation. But what you can do is control your budget, right? So you got to look at your budget, right? So what are you got $130,000 a year. If it's costing you, I don't what's the math on that 130,000. So half would be 65,000. So if it's costing you $65,000 a year to house yourself, that's going to be more than you can afford, right? So if that's the case, you got to find a different way to house yourself, right? Most people are getting ate up with car payments, right? So you're talking about between $500 and $800 a month in car payments. You got trucks that are over $1,000 a month now. Just insanity. Uh, you got to get control of car payments, right? So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shop around for all my insurances, right? Whether that be life insurance, housing insurance, car insurance, uh, health insurance, whatever insurance you have, we're shopping around for that stuff, right? Because we're going to find a cheaper way. Same thing, a phone bill, right? So we just switched to US Cellular because US Cellular is offering four phones and $90 a month, which is about half of what everybody else is doing. So, and they're on the T-Mobile network now, so they have the best network, and it's a no-brainer to switch, right? Especially when AT&T wouldn't give us free phones, right? Because we kept our phones for 5 years, and now those phones aren't worth anything, right? So, um, AT&T wouldn't give us the money. Okay, we'll just switch, no problem. Bye bye AT&T. So, but that's how you get control of your budget, right? You shop around, you lower your expenses to the best you can, right? Say, so if you get 5 companies' estimates and you go with, the most reputable, lowest company, right? Lowest price, right? So if, you know, for us, that was US Cellular for phones, that was Progressive for insurance. So, keep that in mind, that kind of thing. So then you get what's called a threshold budget, right? You got your monthly set expenses, and you say, well, this is how much we're bringing in. 130,000. You're bringing in about what, $6,000 a month, something like that. Take home pay. So your budget, you're going to automatically say, okay, I got $6,000 in take home pay. 10% would be 1,000. 15% would be 1,500. So $1,500 a month would be going into investing. So that leaves you with $4,500 a month to spend, right? So your set bills are 2,000. You got $2,500 left to spend, and when you hit that threshold, you cut it off, right? So that is how you take control of your 130,000 a year, right? If you're spending too much on where you live, spending too much on cars, spending too much on insurance, spending too much on monthly bills, you have to get that under control, right? So you go through your budget, you figure out how much you're spending, and say, okay, can I get this cheaper somewhere, right? So you use competition to make your life better, basically, right? So keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys would do if you're having trouble paycheck to paycheck at $130,000 a year. Let me know what you guys would do. All right, and so last thing of the day, and this is kind of an old school thought from Albert Camus, and it says, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Right? So we've definitely come a long way from the absolute free model in the United States, right? Um, we have definitely, so you have freedom, right? Absolute freedom versus uh, dictatorship under a king, right? Is the opposite side, whatever. Um, and so safety, when you have absolute freedom, becomes very difficult to have, right? So if you got free open borders, there's no state lines, there's no rules to do anything. Um, that's the absolute free, and you're in an unsafe society. Then people can just come rob you, steal from you, burn your house down, you know, all that kind of stuff. Well, so we're basically trying to be somewhere in the middle, right? Where you have rules, you have things that protect you, give you safety, but doesn't take away your freedom so much that you can't do stuff on your own land, right? So that's the kind of balance you're trying to get there. Let me know what you guys think about this quote. It's not really a quote about like, getting better, or it's just kind of a philosophical way, um, but I basically take this as financial freedom, right? Like the only way to actually be free is to be financially free, where you're not uh, a slave to a corporation. You're not um, having to work your way up the ladder because inflation's kicking your ass. Um, you know, you're not sitting in traffic for hours and hours a day. Uh, you know, you're able to write and think and uh, garden and whatever you choose to spend your time doing, right? And hopefully that's what I can teach you guys here. Just taught you basically how to decrease your monthly spending to the best of your ability. So hopefully that helps you guys out today. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you need help setting your budget up, shopping around for things, um, and getting your life straightened back out, hit me up in the DM for life coaching. Shop at InSocial.com. Pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Buy my wife's book, London and the Googly Goo. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with somebody that needs it. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.